Alrighty guys, as it brings us into the Dragon Ball Legends TOP guide video. This is going to be in regards to TOP Season 65. So last season, we ended at rank 2,964, so just barely maintaining that top 3K position, definitely securing the top cut title. We don't really care about the title, but we did secure that juicy 1000cc, which is critical at this time, right? Because Legends Fest is right around the corner. We have to be getting that 1000cc every single season. But before we continue, remember there will always be timestamps in the description down below. That way you guys can go ahead and get to where you need to go. So once again, the first thing that we're going to be talking about is pathing, right? So the circle fights are going to be your important fights, right? The ones that go in the increments of 5, those are going to be your big win streak bonus fights, right? So 5th win, 10th win, 15th win. Every single time I do these videos, I talk about this, right? Because your win streak bonus should be prioritized. If you ruin that, you're going to miss out on a lot of points. And there's two ways you can ruin it, is by landing on a yellow tile or a green tile, which meaning if you do that, you're not going to get the 25th win streak bonus. Or if you die and reset your win streak bonus, right? Because it sets you back 2 fights and sets it to 0. But you can see right here on the second half of our path right here, at the very end, I have included 2 circled fights for the end. That green one is going to be a bit easier, but I know, especially with my playstyle, I tend to go for the difficult one, that way in attempt to get some more points. But I might actually consider going for the green one this time around, but I'm going to go ahead and leave that to your guys' discretion. So now, moving on to tips and tricks, of course, the first thing we had to talk about is our friendship rank. Right here I have Tanks pulled up. He is at friendship rank 10. This is important because friendship rank 10 directly affects your stats in TOP. His stats right now looking pretty good. Key restore speed 2,612. That is amazing for TOP standards, right? That's really good. If we look at his regular stats, that key restore speed drops down to 2,488, right? And you will see that jump across the boards on all of your stats simply by getting your friendship rank up to 10. That's where you want to have it at. That's where it caps out at. The easiest way to increase your friendship rank is through the Let's Fight event. You get 3 of these per day, so make sure you are completing them. There is also a stage in the story mode, Part 6, Book 1, Chapter 8, against the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, the yellow one. This is another fight where you can increase your friendship with 3 units rather than 1, right? Because you can only bring 1 unit into the Let's Fight event. But this takes forever, and I really do not recommend it, unless you are desperately in need of the friendship rank. Now, the way to increase your rate of friendship rank gain, there is one specific equip that can help you with this tremendously, right? There's this equip that you can get from the Z Metal Exchange Shop, and it is called There's No Way That We Could Lose to Someone Like You. It's the Shallot equip with Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and you can see right here on the slots, 3% to friendship points gain, 1%. So the max amount, obviously, you do want it at Z if you can get it to Z. And then you'll get 3% to all of these right here, and that will these stack too. So you can see that that equip is on all of my units right here. This is my friendship rank grinding team, and I do recommend you guys build one as well. Another thing that can help out your units in TOP, or just in general, right, is arts boosting. Specifically, if you arts boost the special boost, it does increase your defenses. So now let's go into the board and actually address some of the tricky fights, because this season is going to be difficult. I once again tried to make the pathing as easy as possible, but this season is going to be rough. There's just no way around it, unfortunately. So first fight, we do have LOE. I do recommend killing full power Frieza or the Broly here first, since they will debuff you on turn 2. If you can get both of them on turn 1, amazing. And then this is the first boss fight. Thankfully, it's only a 3/5 stage, but we do come across a 5/5 stage one later on, so it is important to mention this, right? So we do have Fusion with MUI. I do still recommend killing Ultra Gogeta first. Whenever you see Ultra Gogeta, that's probably going to be your first target. Next, we have movies with Bojack. This is a really easy stage, but remember that Bojack will super attack you at the end of turn 2, so kill him before that to avoid it. Next, we have the Kid Gohan stage. We love this stage, right? Kill Gohan first and Beerus if possible, all in turn 1. Next, we have this Kyle Frieza stage. If you aren't swapping your units to strike, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second, do not bring purples, right? you want to kill the Kaio Goku first, since he will super you on turn 2, and save full power Frieza for last and pray to RNG he doesn't super you. Again, if you aren't swapping your units over to strike base. To swap a unit over to strike base, you're simply going to click on your desired unit. You're going to see a little icon next to the right of them or next to the left of their HP bar. You click on that and it'll ask you to choose your attack strategy. From there, you can go ahead and click on the strike arts and then hit confirm. Congratulations, that unit will now be using strike arts. Next, we have this Ultra Vegito stage, is what I'm going to call it. Typically, I do like to kill Tapion first here, since he does reduce one of your unit super gauges down to 0 on turn 2. But I think it's going to be more of an advantage for us to kill Ultra Vegito first, just since he's the big dog of this fight. Next, we have this girls fight. Kill Mai before end of turn 2 to avoid getting stunned by her. Next, we have this movie stage with no Ultra in sight. Here, you do want to kill Tapion first. Next, we have this powerful opponent stage. I am going to recommend to kill the tag droids first, right? Especially because you do not want to give them the opportunity to tag out into 18 and give them type advantage over your blue units. Next is this wonderfully easy stage right here, the Fusion Reborn stage. As long as you kill Ultra Gogeta, everyone else falls. Like, everyone else is paper thin here. So again, talking about the two options for the last fight, we have this fusion stage at 4 Fist. It is a lot more manageable in my opinion, but again, it is 4 Fist, while the Saiyan fight is a 5 Fist stage. You might get some more points out of it, right? But there's 3 Ultras here, and they have a strong color wheel to boot, so it is going to be difficult to get type advantage over them unless you bring multiple yellows. But for the most part, Regen isn't really boasting powerful yellows in high tiers. So now moving into our top teams, the first team we're going to be talking about is the girls squad. So immediately right off rip, your MVPs here are going to be your healers. I do like this blue Kale a lot. I actually do recommend running 2 healers with this team because you can never be too safe, right? Especially this team does have a lot of EX units or just a lot of outdated units. So I do like running her alongside a secondary healer if I'm going to be using this team. Right here, the number 1 player is using that yellow 18, that ToP one. I do not have her, but I do know she is a healer for the tag as well, right? This blue Ribrianne, she does possess some debuffs for the enemy team. I think she's pretty solid as well. And then that 1000 day Bulma can be replaced by this purple Mai. Although it is going to be somewhat of a downgrade, she still buffs the entire board, which is good. Alright, so next we're going to be talking about USS. Similar to the girls team, the MVPs, Kale and that ToP 18. The fact that you're running 2 heals on here are going to make you feel incredibly safe. And even with the 2 heals, a lot of people probably would argue that running 2 healers is probably going to reduce the amount of points that you get. Maybe. Yeah, maybe it's a lot more beneficial to your points to run only 1 healer and then focus on the tiers and stuff like that. But this person's rank 62. I don't think he's necessarily worried about how much points he's getting, right? But he's running those 2. He does have the Bergamo on here, the Zenkai one. I like this guy a lot because he buffs health for Universal Survival Saga, and he also mitigates an attack since he does have that bubble shield ability. But you know damn well, for this team, I am running Goku and Frieza. I don't care if they're C tier. I don't care if they would have a negative effect on your points. Like, they give you like minus a percentage to your points, right? These guys are so damn good, and they do have the ability to carry right here. And if you are using this team, this is the perfect opportunity to bring these guys in because they do buff universe reps. A sleeper unit that I forgot to mention here on the girl squad is Urine. I like Urine a lot. She does have debuffs. She hits pretty damn hard, and of course she does buff girls and Universe Survival Saga. The next thing we're going to be talking about is Ginyu Force. I actually think Ginyu Force has a lot of potential here as a safe team. Right, not only did the original Ginyu Force members really feed off of each other, right, for their kit, they really rely on each other, having multiple Ginyu Force members on the squad, or Frieza Force members as well, right? But now you have the 3 additions. If you did invest into that Ginyu Force banner, you probably are going to be eating good if you want to use that team, right? For example, you also have this Frieza, this Revival Frieza. I've always mentioned swapping him in for one of your blues or something like that because he is a healer for Frieza Force, right? But if I had the other Ginyu units, you know damn well I'm swapping out Birder, I'm swapping out Jace, and I'm bringing in the Raccoon Guldo tag unit, and I'm bringing in the Jace Birder tag unit. That Raccoon Guldo one specifically because that guy is a healer, He's a healer for Ginyu Force. I think Ginyu Force and Frieza Force. I could be wrong. It might just be Ginyu Force. But either way, I'm pretty sure he does have the same range as this Frieza, where it's to the left and to the right. So if you slap him in right here in this slot, all of your units are going to be getting some sort of heal, right? This guy is rank 90. That is really damn good for a team like this, especially where you're going to feel a little bit more safe, right? So if you are running the Ginyu Force and you do opt in for using the new Ginyu Force members, let me know how it goes, because I feel like it is going to be somewhat easy. The next thing we're going to be talking about is androids, right? So I think androids have been a pretty safe I think androids is right up there with regeneration. Obviously, some seasons regeneration might be a bit better, some seasons androids might be a bit better, and there's a YouTube channel out there, Andy8 Gaming, who always does android walkthroughs, right? So if you want some more in-depth androids gameplay for ToP, then definitely head over there. He will be linked in the description down below. But what I like about this team is that you have multiple healers for this team now, right? Like you have this Gamma 2. For example, at the third turn, you restore health of allies in range by 2%. This red Android 18 has been pretty standard for this team, right? At the end of the turn, allies in range restores health by 3%. Very, very solid. And then that ToP 18 as well. Not only that ToP 18, right? But this Zenkai Cell. And look at, he buffs the entire board. Right at the start of the third turn, he heals all allied tag androids, I'm sorry, by 3%. Every android member, he heals by 3%. That is really good. That's why you'll see him on a lot of these android-based teams as well. But I think the team really meshes well together. This Gamma, for example, he does get 50% to own special move gauge on the fourth turn, meaning he's going to be super attacking pretty much every other fight. This guy, he gets a super attack every fight at the start of the third turn. The purple 21's pretty good, right? This guy, he's able to mitigate one blast arts attack and stuff like that. I do like this purple cell. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I really like this purple cell a lot just because of the debuffs that he provides. Androids is eating good. And last but not least, we do have a regeneration. I actually found a regeneration member within the top 200 right here. So let's go over his team real quick. So there are a lot of units we are familiar with here, right? Obviously that yellow Piccolo, the Super Baby 2, of course, the purple Janemba. I'm big fans of those three units, and specifically, right? When it comes down to that purple Super Boo, I hate that man. I refuse to run him. I'm never going to run him again, right? But look who he has in the top right corner. He has the Ultra Janemba, and we will be going over his kits at the end of the video alongside with the Zenkai Red Janemba. But I kind of wanted to take this team and make it into my own, kind of, right, in a way, because a lot of these units are really accessible, except for that Ultra Janemba. So I want to see if I can make this team work with just a couple tweaks, and literally a couple as in 2 tweaks. Instead of that Super Boo, I'm going to use this purple cell, and instead of the Ultra Janemba, I'm going to use my trusty Boo Tanks, right? Because as you can see, Ultra Janemba is in place of the Boo Tanks on his team, because typically you want that super attacker, right? So let's see how this plays out for this season. Of course, if you guys do have that Ultra Janemba, you guys already know he's insane for ToP. Definitely feel free to just copy this guy's team, of course. Alright, so of course, the final segment, new units. Let's take a look at this Ultra Janemba. I do not have him, unfortunately, but let's take a look at those ToP stats. So Q restore speed is definitely on the weaker side, right? Especially if I want to compare him to someone like Boo Tanks. Boo Tanks has 2,600. This guy got 2,300. Right, at friendship rank 1, of course, right? But I digress. He does have the blue card and the ultimate ability right here. Let's take a look at these abilities. At the start of battle, 85% to own damage, 15% to damage reduction, inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade minus 10% to damage inflicted for 2 turns. It's already pretty solid. Another all enemies with downgrade minus 10% to health restoration for 2 turns. He's going to be very annoying to fight against, I can already tell. And on attack, so you restore your own health by 1%. So 4% a fight, that's pretty good. 15% to damage inflicted for 1 turn. On special move arts activation, plus 20% to special move damage inflicted. On special move arts hit, inflicts extreme bleed. On ultimate arts hits or activation, multi-target, 20% to own damage, ultimate damage inflicted, and you inflict all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 10% to damage. Dude, he's just debuffing out the wazoo. Okay. And on Ultimate Arts hit, all enemies get hit with extreme bleed. Okay, so he's kind of like the AoE damage dealer. I like it. Does have a cover change that is health gated by 30%, a blast based cover change. Before receiving a strike arts, you activate the counter. So he does have the counter mechanic even in ToP. After activating a counter, self 15% to special move gauge, and you upgrade your special move arts. So immediately goes from special move to ultimate arts. At the end of the second turn, you activate your green card, 20% to damage inflicted, 10% to key recovery is massive. That percentage, that's going to be nice. You cancel attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions. I expected him to be low-key coming into this. I honestly thought he was going to be able to just launch the ultimate on the counter. Low-key. That's kind of what I was expecting. If he did that, then he would have been absolutely broken. But as of right now, I still think he's really good. Don't get me wrong. All the debuffs are definitely going to come in clutch. But I think I just set these like higher expectations for him. But let's look at the Ultra ability as well, right? At the start of the battle, 5% to ultimate damage inflicted for all allies. At the start of the battle, per ally tag regeneration, 5% to damage inflicted, 5% to key recovery, so that's gonna be huge for them, obviously, right? And after receiving an attack for self, restores health by 2%, so he's a tank. He's gonna be extremely tanky here. He does have, obviously, if you have the pleasure of having him at 14 stars, 42% to regeneration strike and blast defense. Okay. So again, extremely solid. You kind of expect that from the Ultra units, but not as broken as I thought it was going to be. So now we're going to be taking a look at the red Janemba, who just got a Zenkai awakening, right? I've actually been pretty anticipated, or I have been anticipating the Zenkai for a while now, because the purple Janemba Zenkai is pretty damn good. So good to the point where he's just stuck in low tier, right? That's how you know their Zenkais are pretty good, right? If the unit is just absolutely hard stuck, B tier, C tier, and then occasionally makes the appearance in A tier. But his key restore speed is really good at 2,616. He is at friendship rate 10 here. He does have the blue card. So first ability, on target or on hit, target is episode sagas from the movies, 30% to damage inflicted. That's pretty substantial. On receiving an attack, enemy is sagas from the movies, minus 20% to damage received. At the start of the turn, 60% to damage inflicted, plus 60 to key recovery. So on strike or special move arts hit, you inflict the enemy with minus 30 to key recovery and inflict them with heavy bleed as well. The second ability, start of the battle, applies buff effect, restores 20% of damage received up to 20% of own health. So he does have like the healing factor. Before receiving a blast arts, you activate the counter. And so, upon activating the counter, your green card, you inflict the enemy with can attack, so you stun them, and you also get 10% to your own special move gauge. I was hoping for it to be a little bit more, right? I know he does stun them, but the purple Janemba, he straight up gets like 50% to a special move gauge upon mitigating a blast arts, right? You get 70% to own next on strike arts damage inflicted, inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 30% to strike damage received for 2 turns if they are episode sagas from the movies. So this guy is just like the sagas from the movies buster, essentially, right? But that ain't gonna happen if you're against Ultra Gogeta. Like, I don't know. He looks, we're gonna have to experiment with him. I think we're gonna experiment with him next season or the season after that. Definitely once we get him to Zenkai level 7. So that being said, that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, need any replacements for any of the teams, definitely drop them down in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed the content, make sure you guys leave a like and maybe even consider hitting that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later!